Let's get started then. Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to our meeting tonight. Let's go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Who'd like to lead us on that? Okay, Dennis.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, is Mert on yet?
She just came on.
Ready to do our financial report.
Okay, just
Am I ready to go? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. The treasury report is the current balance of the bank account is $581.21. We had four people test, which brought in some money this month, and then a check of $35 was written out for the testing to go to the W5YI for Roland to send to them. Yeah, that's it. That's the treasury report. We've had a couple memberships come in that hasn't been deposited yet. I'm kind of trying to get them all together in the next week or two, and then I'll take a big deposit for those. So if you need to send your fees, I'm not there tonight. I had a coworker that has the coronavirus, and so rather than pass on the love, I'm gonna stay home. And so I was planning on being there tonight to collect the fees and the membership forms, but I think the easiest way is for me to either email them, or you can get on the West Desert Amateur Radio Club site, print them off, scan them to me, email them to me, mail them to me, whatever's easiest. I have Venmo if you want to Venmo the membership fees. We also can take checks and cash, however you want to pay for it, whatever's easiest for you guys. Just remember, seniors are $5, individuals are $10, and then family members, like a family, is $15. We do have hats and stickers still for sale. The hats are $17, stickers are $3. I haven't been able to deliver those due to the coronavirus. I've been in quarantine twice now, so I would love to come share the love with everybody, but it's best if I stay home. So due to the coronavirus, I haven't delivered hats and stickers. I could throw them in the mail for you if that's easiest for everybody. Whatever makes life easy for everyone. Just let me know. And I think that's all my information. Thank you.
Oh, her Venmo address. Hey, Mert, what's your Venmo address?
So my Venmo is just Mert. I think it's just Mert. Hold on, let me look it up. I think it's just Mert-Russo, but just give me 2 seconds. I'll look that up really fast. I'll post it to the West Desert Amateur Radio Club page too, if that makes it easier for everybody. Yeah, it's just Mert-Russo. So if you Venmo me, just do it to Mert-Russo, and it's got a little minion and like a lei playing a ukulele. So any other questions?
Thanks, Mert.
Yeah, thank you guys. Sorry I'm not there. I wish I could have been, but I
got one.
Okay. It's okay. That's what you can do Venmo if you want to. You can send it to her via, like, Venmo is just like similar to PayPal. So, and you know,
In fact, Venmo is owned by PayPal.
What's that?
Venmo is owned by PayPal.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Motion to accept her report. Second. Got a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Okay, anybody in Anybody out on the Zoom want to oppose, unmute and say so. Nobody did.
Okay, sounds like it's unanimous then. All right, minutes from the meeting. Rhoda would like to do her part?
You would give her the mic.
Certainly. Most certainly.
Just real quick, I'm sorry, I just got a Venmo from somebody. Just real quick, if they do Venmo me, I still need their application, their membership form. So if you're gonna Venmo me, that's awesome. 2 thumbs up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That makes it easy. But also go online and email me your membership form so I can attach that Venmo payment to that, so that it's all my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed and everything is good with that. So yeah, super cool. Thank you. And thanks everyone.
Did you hear what she said? She said somebody just Venmoed her money. So she says to go on to email her who it was so that she'll know, the application, was it?
Oh, the membership form, yeah.
The membership form.
What's her email address?
Mert, email address.
mertred@gmail.com.
What was it?
MERT.
Say it again.
My maiden name is Redmond, so it's Mert, MERT, Red, RED @gmail.com. Thanks, guys.
Okay, the minutes for the West Desert Amateur Radio Club held on September 20th, 2020. I screwed that day up. It wasn't September 20th. The meeting was a hybrid meeting with some members in person attendance and others in Zoom. Meeting started at 7 p.m. with President Robert Andrews conducting. No pledge of allegiance was performed. The treasurer's report was given by Mark Russo. Check was issued to renew the registration and upgrades on the trailer. Glenn Murray motioned to accept, seconded by Roger Redmond and accepted by the club. Minutes were given by Roma Balwell. Glenn Murray motioned to accept, seconded by Roger Redmond, accepted by the club. A report on Mesh Network was given by Clint Thompson. He has ordered and received the supplies for the network at the Blue Peak CLC Mesh Node. A committee for nominations for the election was requested. Casey Stevens has volunteered for the committee. Roland Smith presented information on the ARRL set, a simulation emergency test. He asked for suggestions on how we can participate in this test. It was suggested Orion testing, cell tower evaluation test, and others. Roland did a presentation on SCS software defined radio. Two websites that he talked about was scrutah.org and webscru.org. Lynn Murray brought forward information that the FCC is trying to raise the fees for licensees to $50. A motion to adjourn by Glenn Murray, seconded by Casey Stevens. Club accepted and motion and meeting adjourned at 7:50.
Motion to accept the minutes, seconded, and we got it right there. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Don't see anybody online. Anybody online opposed? Please speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, sounds like it's unanimous. Okay, we're working on the nominating committee. Roland, who all do we have so far?
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit more about nominating a little bit in a minute, but currently we have 2 people that have agreed to be on the nominating committee. I think I've got somebody wanting to get in, so let me admit them. Okay, we've got 2 people so far. Tyler Wilson out on South Fork and Rick Rank have agreed to be on the nominating committee. We're looking for 1 or 2 more people. So if anybody is interested, the task is essentially to go through club members and find potential candidates, get people who would agree to run for office.
Yeah.
And put that together and present that in our November meeting. In the November meeting, we would then take any additional nominations, and then the voting will be by secret ballot in December, at the December Christmas party. Okay?
Thank you, Roland. We have anybody from the Mesh Network Committee out there? See anybody come up?
Nope.
Okay, well, we'll skip over that one then. Roland wanted a little bit of time. What's that? I did. We have the nodes going up already at Blue Peak. That's the start of it right there. That's where we can start building out and getting our mesh network up. We have an antenna that's already up out in Grantsville that just needs to be finished getting hooked up. We've had a hard time getting the individual that's going to help us with that connected. So, you know, we're still working on it. It is going in. We're going to have the main node at the Blue Peak High School CLC. So it is going to start. What they are putting up though is the 5 gig stuff, so be aware of that. We don't have any 2.4 or 3 gig stuff yet. Yeah. Well, you got a node set up? Yeah. Set up a node, get a node started, get other people out there.
How would I go about joining the mesh network committee, as well as I have hardware for it? No, I just need some cable for it.
You need the Cat 5?
Yes.
Okay, we have Cat 5. I do not have the connectors for it. You need to show the connectors to go with that, Casey.
Okay, I can easily get those. That was not too hard for me to get. And then, if I wanted to join the mesh network committee, how would I do that?
Trying to remember, who is it? Thomas Carlisle?
Yes.
Or,
Thomas Carlisle or Clint Thompson.
yeah, Thomas Carlisle or Clint Thompson, either one of those. Contact them and tell them you want to help. They'll get things up. I mean, the more the merrier. The more we get up, the better it's going to be.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay. Yeah, we just get some nodes up. I mean, we can get some nodes up, get some people to start doing it. I mean, we've got a couple people already, one in Erda, one in Stansbury Park. The only 2 people they talk to are each other. So get set up, see if you can find someone.
Okay.
I know once I get my node up here, since I'm on a first level apartment, it'll be hard for me to see people that's back east or that's on the east side of me. No, the west side of me, but I can usually see people that's on the east side.
Yeah.
All you got to do, Casey, is just see one and you'll see everybody.
You see one, you can get into the network, and from there you can go anywhere. Because there's going to be multiple paths that your signal can take to make those connections. Mm-hmm. Well, it's just a matter of money. I mean, we got the money, we can put up anything we want. We just don't have the money. I mean, I'd love to have 10 grand to drop on it right now and get us going. Okay, anything else?
The set?
The
Simulated?
set, yes. You wanted to talk about the set?
Okay, so we're planning to do a simulated emergency test this Saturday. The hours are from between 9 and 11. For most people, it'll be maybe a half an hour activity during that period of time. However, in order for me to give you an assignment, I need you to have registered. So go to the West Desert Amateur Radio website if you haven't done so already and register for the simulated emergency test. If you don't register, you won't get an assignment. It's just the only way that it works. The assignments are going to be twofold. For a few people, we'll give them assignments to be an area net control station. And for everyone else, we're going to give you an assignment to go someplace, probably to a local park, local to you, set up for portable operations with whatever equipment you have available and check in on the local, to the local area net controller for your area, wherever you are. He'll have some questions for you, and then you're done. Later that afternoon, you'll get a questionnaire to fill out, and out of that, we expect to be able to get some type of an assessment of our ability to be able to deploy, our ability to be able to send amateur radio operators someplace and have them operate for a period of time. That's the simulated emergency test. It will be very COVID-19 compliant. You're not going anywhere around any other people or do anything else other than your little assignment. Okay, so please register. We don't have very many people registered so far. So this thing could be over in a real hurry for us, but we would like very much to have a lot more participation.
Roland, this is Norm. I have a question for you.
Go ahead with your question.
When I signed up, it didn't ask me for my call sign. It just said sign up. And
I've seen you sign up.
okay, I was just checking.
One of the few I've seen, but I've seen you being signed up.
Okay.
Hey, Roland, I just signed up for it.
Yes, back here.
Roland?
So what kind of equipment do we need? Because all I have is a little file tank down.
Okay, so that's what I want to know. That's part of the registration process, is to let me know what equipment you have. And then we'll give you an assignment related to the equipment that you have available to you.
And sign up on the Facebook?
Sign up on the West Desert Amateur Radio Club website. There are 2 steps to this. One of them is to sign up and register for the event. The second one is to go to under membership. There's a membership maintenance tab, and we want you to check and update your member information, including the capabilities that you have. Okay? Anybody else online have questions?
It's Glenn. I tried to register and it told me that I was already registered, and I didn't know if that was because of when I initially signed up or what.
Okay, I didn't quite catch all of that, Glenn. Would you say that again?
Register, but it told me that I have already registered.
Okay, now I do have a registration for you.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
Okay, good, thank you.
Now, next item, several months ago, we started making changes to the club constitution and bylaws. We want to present that tonight for your review and comments. And next month, we will vote on accepting the changes. Do you have that available, Roland?
Yeah, okay, so let me get it up and we will do this. Okay, now, I just got to find my monitor now. Where are you? Sometimes this is a pain. Where is? There it is. Okay. I'll start sharing my screen. I'm going to share my desktop number 2. I bring this up and I'm going to say play. And it's not there. Okay, that didn't work. It tells me that's how I'm supposed to be able to do it. Okay, well, we will do it the hard way.
Yeah.
What's that?
Cool. Oh, come on, where are you? This other screen is much smaller than I wanted it to be. Okay, well, hopefully everybody can see that. So I want to talk a little bit about the update to our Constitution and bylaws. Our Constitution was last updated in 2014. It discovers or governs how the club is organized and how we operate. It defines what we can do and what we can't do. And it explains how the club would be dissolved if ever needed. And it provides sources of funding and how disbursements are supposed to be made. The Constitution provides a method to update and amend the 2 documents. And the proposed updates are to be presented to club members at one meeting, and then we vote on them in the following meeting 1 month later. And so we're proposing that to update the Constitution and bylaws, and we're going to present them to you today. I will send out to you, all of you, in the email, the proposed updates to the Constitution and bylaws, and then in our November meeting, we'll be discussing them and taking a vote on whether or not you all are in agreement with what we want to do. So what is changing? Probably the first big change is the current Constitution defines members as those who pay their dues and nobody else is allowed to be here. Well, that's probably not the way we want to run the club. So essentially, we are opening membership up to everyone, and everybody falls into one of 2 categories: either a full member, that is somebody who's paid their dues for the current year, or affiliated members. And but everything that we do is open to full participation, except for full members are the only ones who may be able to, would be allowed to hold offices and to vote on anything. But we want anybody to come. Now, what we do know is in the younger generation, of which we have quite a few members in, now in that category, are generally not joiners. They're participators, and they want to pay by the drink rather than pay once a year kind of an affair. And so consequently, we want to break things apart into full members and affiliated members, and we want everyone to come and participate. We also have clarified a number of the responsibilities for club officers. We've specified specifically when business can be conducted, so that there would never be a private meeting where we might change something and nobody else knows. And so consequently, we could only conduct business when either the president or the vice president are in attendance, and we would have a quorum of full members. A quorum is 6 additional full members present. We've added an executive board in addition to the 4 club officers. The executive board we want to have a youth representative on the executive board. We'd like to have some of our committee members, like the mesh committee members and some others. We want them to be on what we would consider to be the executive board and meet with us, meet with the officers on a regular basis to help plan activities and so on. As a part of our board, we're also wanting to find somebody who will be responsible for programs and programming and what we're doing in our monthly meetings and so on. We've also defined the training process and how training requirements are set in order to be able to participate in some of the club activities, particularly those related to the amateur radio emergency service. So you're going to get them in the email tonight. So please read the documents that will come in your email and be prepared to discuss and vote in the November meeting. So let me show you what they're going to look like. And it's a little bit much to try and go through them on, in a meeting like this. So I'm going to send them to you as soon as my finder shows up. Okay, where are you? Stop sharing. Now let's see, where are you? There you are. We got too many screens with too much stuff. They put this new projector in this place. It's a delightful, beautiful new projector, and they're running it in VGA mode. It's just crazy.
Yikes.
Okay, so this is what the Constitution document is going to look like that I'm going to send you. We'll do that. There we go. The areas where we're making changes are underlined, and that you will see. And you will get this. This one will come in an email to you today. And let me get up the bylaws. Here's the markup on the bylaws. So they will, again, any of the changes that we are proposing will be are underlined. So check your email. We'd like very much for you to participate in the discussion and be ready, be prepared to vote on them next month. Now, it's important to know that dues are due now in the month of October, and the fiscal year for the club is from November 1st to October 31st. And so those who will be able to vote on the changes to the Constitution and bylaws are those who have paid their dues during the month of October and are paid full by November the 1st. Okay, Rob? Right behind you.
So please take the opportunity to look those over. Remember what kind of drove this was last year's election. We had some limitations on how long people could serve. Made an exception to allow me to do a third year. So that's what kind of drove this. Just look it over. We're trying to make it a much more friendly unit of information for the club. So look it over, see what you think. Also forgot, I'd like to thank Mariah, if she's on here. I don't know if she's on Zoom or not. But thank her for the wonderful newsletter she put out. I hope all of you had a chance to look at it and read it. Is she on there?
Don't see her.
If you didn't get it, check with Roland. Make sure you get your email address correct. Okay? No, I just got to make sure, you know, translations.
I'm sure it went to you, Gene. You might want to check your spam folder.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else as far as business for the club? If not, we'll turn it over to Roland to do his presentation on.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Blake out here, Wendover.
Go ahead, Blake.
Hi. Has there been anybody else out this way? Sign up for the set thing this Saturday that you know of?
Okay, so far we've got you and one other person out of the Murphy family that signed up.
Okay. I don't know everybody out here, but I'll see if I can catch them on the radio off and on between here and there and see if I can get some more. Thanks.
Okay. All right, you're welcome.
All right, and with that, we'll turn it over to Roland. My grandson needs me to go with him to get his driving test, so I'd rather stay here, it's safer.
Okay, give me a second to get this thing pulled up. For some reason, Zoom is not playing well when I want to do a video presentation. So. Okay. So I want to get to a new file. Okay. Obviously, I have to do that differently. Okay, we wanted to talk a little bit about tonight about amateur radio on YouTube and what you might find there. And I would really like very much to have this thing do a do a sharing. I would really like for this to work, and it doesn't seem to want to do that. So one more time, and then we will. Share screen, share desktop to share, and oh, look at that. Okay, I've got this sequence down. You can find literally anything on YouTube. It's the second largest search site on the internet. Google itself is #1, and of course, Google owns YouTube. There have been ham radio and related videos on YouTube literally since YouTube's creation. And you can find all kinds of how-to videos. In fact, that's probably my #1 use of YouTube, is to find the how-to. And sometimes they're helpful. Educational videos, news, current events, and much more. So what I'd like to go through is some of my favorites and the ones that I like to, I pay attention to and usually watch them. The first one is Ham Nation. This is produced every week on Wednesday, and it's been going for 10 years. Bob Heil, K9EID. Now, some of you may know who Bob Heil is from Heil Sound. You know, some, probably quite a few of you have high-end pro set headsets. George Thomas, Don Wilbanks, Valerie Holzfield, Amanda Alden, and Dale Puckett are the folks that are generally on this particular program. They rarely run less than an hour and 10 minutes. But it features all kinds of news and features and projects and very, you know, I find it not only very interesting, but very entertaining. Some of you know who Gordon West is. Gordon West always has an educational segment on the show. George Thomas runs a segment called Smoke and Solder. Okay, now let's see if this will work. Theoretically, I can click on this link. Get up there, get up there. Nope. Let me do that. Okay. There is a link behind that, but it won't let me do it. This number 2 show on my list is something called Amateur Logic TV. And that one comes out on about the 15th of each month. Again, it's about an hour. There are 4 people on the show. It's also in its 10th year, and they have a lot of projects, a lot of activities, and you know that sort of thing that are out there. It's it's quite entertaining. George Thomas, this is the fellow on the right is George Thomas, and the fellow on the left is Tommy Martin. They also produce another segment called Ham College, which they produce once a month around the end of the month. In past episodes, they've gone through every question in the technician class question pool, and then every question in the general question pool. They're currently going through every question in the advanced amateur extra question pool, I'm sorry. They're about a third of the way through the amateur extra pool. And it takes about 2 years before they get all the way through all of the questions, but they discuss every question in the question pool in that process. Now, is that me? So, is it me?
Coverage antenna can be tuned down to exceptionally low SWR on any frequency
So this is the middle
between
of
7
the
and 55 megahertz. So that's covered.
This is Amateur Logic, episode 147 for September 15th, 2020. This episode of Amateur Logic is brought to you by MFJ, the world leaders in ham radio accessories at mfjenterprises.com.
Okay, so that would be Ham Nation, or excuse me, Amateur Logic TV. Then number 3 on my list is Randy K7AGE. He puts out stuff every couple of weeks. He's also quite often a feature on several other ham radio shows. He does primarily how-to videos, and they're primarily very, very oriented towards beginners and people who are just getting started in whatever particular subject it is. His videos are usually very short, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes long. And he's been doing this since 2006. I think this might get us to him. Okay, this is the late, very late.
Morning, this is Randy, K7AGE. I'm here with Andy, Sierra Golf Victor, and also Deborah.
KI7 Whiskey Echo Golf.
Okay, so Andy is the Pelican Bay Amateur Radio Club's president.
Okay, so this is a little 10-minute segment on the Pelican Amateur Radio Club. And this one is about 3 days old since he put it out there. Okay. The next one on my list is Ham Radio Answers. This is Dave Cass. I misspelled his name. It's Dave Kassler, K-A-C-A-S-L-E-R, K-E-0-O-G. Dave lives over in Oregon, and so here's his best correct spelling down in the middle of his name. Every Saturday, he does a live stream question and answer. It's about an hour long at noon on YouTube. Plus, you can also watch it at other times. But if you send your question, any amateur radio related question to Ask Dave, he'll discuss it in his next Saturday live stream. So far, he's got 237 videos, including a series on the Technician General and Amateur Extra Class license exam questions. It's quite entertaining. I enjoy Dave Kessler. I think this is his latest.
Hi, I'm Dave Kessler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, and welcome to another episode of Ask Dave. Today we're going to take a look at the G90. Just a glimpse by using this with the oscilloscope and the spectrum analyzer.
Okay, and Dave is Dave's fairly prolific, and he's got a lot of fairly interesting stuff that's out there on his channel. Next is Dr. Tamitha Skov, Whiskey X-Ray 6 SWW, the Space Weather Woman. She's a PhD weather physicist, particularly focusing on the sun. She's a professor at Millersville University, and she does a weekly space weather forecast. And some of that information talks about upcoming propagation. And I find it very interesting. She also produces and conducts a number of periodic mini-series on some aspect of space weather. Let's see if this one works.
We say goodbye to a bright region and calm down from a big solar storm, but not before a mini solar storm gives us one more chance for Aurora. Those stories and more in the news this week. This space weather forecast is sponsored in part by Millersville University. Come get certified in broadcast space weather. The week, we should definitely be settling back down to quiet conditions, especially at mid-latitudes. Everything continues to be in the green.
Okay, and this is the part that's very interesting for me. This is the forecast of propagation coming up for the next week. A solar flux of 70 means you're just barely marginal propagation. A couple of times this past week, we've gotten up to as high as 72. When we'll finally get into solar cycle 25, into the peak of the solar cycle 25, those numbers will be up in the 150 to 250 range. And propagation will run all over the world. So anyway, this is one of the places where you can get good information about what's happening with our sun and with space weather. And then finally, on my top 5 list is Jason and Ham Radio 2.0. Jason features all kinds of new products and services and modes. He gets lots of feedback, and it includes that in his shows. He's I think everything I learned initially about DMR I learned from Jason. Oops, I'll go back. This should have been a link. It's not, or it's not working anyway. But Ham Radio 2.0, an excellent program if you want to know what's new. He does lots of unboxing and first use videos on new amateur radio equipment. Other shows that may or may not be of interest. K6YUDA. Now, that's not a valid call sign. I think his call sign is K6UDA, and he just sticks it in there. Generally has fairly irreverent and pointed commentary. Some of his stuff is more than I can take, but this is him. President Bill, my Jeep. This guy was was a race car driver, and you know, for many, many years, and so he gets a lot of race driving kinds of things onto his show. Go back here. Kevin Laughlin. Kevin is a full-time RVer. This shows include some travel logs and a lot of amateur radio projects that are small kinds of things you might be able to use in your RV or your camper or you know, that sort of thing. The one of the things. This was a very interesting one on a Raspberry Pi and a distribution called HamPi. Probably the best distribution you can put onto a Raspberry Pi. You know, kind of affair. It's very he's an interesting fellow. But if RVing and that sort of thing is interesting to you, you would find Kevin interesting. The ham radio clash course is a fairly new show on YouTube. Essentially kind of looking to what people who are beginning to get into the amateur radio world, kinds of things that they might be interested in, you know, kind of affair. It's like I said, it's fairly new. It's got 146,000 subscribers, and it doesn't like my internet connection. But I think has had some pretty good content there. Finally, KB9 BBR antennas. Have any of you ever heard of the PAC antenna and some other QRP SOTA activation kinds of things? This is one of the principles with that company. But you know, his shows are lengthy and goes way very in depth into whatever he's going to do, except this one right here. This was just a kind of a one-off, the 10 best amateur radio videos in 2019. Okay, but some of his are fairly. Let's go back. Let's look here. Some of his are, you know, go into a lot of detail and get pretty detailed in whatever he's doing. He does a lot of stuff having to do with antennas. And then the radio ham guy. This is a fellow who essentially puts together shows talking about his experience as he's going through playing with ham radio. The thing that really irritates me about this website is that it's got something that auto plays on it, and I think people who put the autoplay stuff on their website ought to go to their own special place in hell. But anyway, he does have some interesting stuff. And this last one here this one he was featuring right here was a contact he made with the International Space Station, and but it's primarily his experiences with amateur radio. And there are many more. If you go to YouTube and in the search bar type in ham radio, you'll get a lot of stuff coming up. Some of it better than others. But anyway, I thought maybe I could just kind of go through and let you know about some of the YouTube ham radio related shows that I pay attention to. And one last thing about Ham Nation. It's sponsored by ICOM, and it comes out once a week. And once a week, if you wish, you can go to ICOM America /Ham Nation and enter into a drawing. there's a weekly drawing that will just send you some swag, a t-shirt, a cap, a bunch of other stuff. There's a monthly drawing that gives away a radio, an ICOM radio. And I've won it 4 times. Yeah, 3 of them have been the weekly swag kinds of things. And one time I won a handheld ID51A +2, a really, really, really nice handheld radio.
Hey, Roland, what was that website to go to?
Ham Nation. It's on YouTube. It's Ham Nation. Now the URL to enter the contest is icomamericas.com/Ham Nation. But if I can win it 3 times, other people can win it, as well. So that there is some benefit to watching that particular show. Okay, that's it. From that standpoint. So I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. Anybody have any comments, questions, concerns? Go ahead and unmute and speak up. How about here in the room?
Well done.
Okay, that was a that was a comment, right?
That was a comment, yes. Well done.
Okay, well, we'll take that one. All right. Well, we're coming up on time. We ought to be ending anyway. So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll go ahead and second that.
Okay, I've got one from online from Casey. I want a second.
Number 2.
Okay, we've got a couple of seconds on it. So all I need, according to Robert's rules, is a motion and a second, and I can say meeting adjourned. We don't even have to vote on it. So meeting's done. Thank you very much. This recording will be up on the internet on our club's web page, the YouTube page, probably sometime tomorrow. Thank you all.
Good
73.
evening, everyone.
Hey, Roland, I had a question for you afterwards. Not sure if you want me to ask you on here or if you want me to give you a call.
Give me a call, but give me about 20 minutes.
Okay. I will do that.